Hello there, welcome back to one of my videos. I'm gonna get a microphone soon, so then the audio in these videos are better. So I wanted to do a video where if I died tomorrow, this video would have stayed in the world and then I'd be content and happy that I've said all that I have to say and then I can go. Yeah. So if I died tomorrow, this video would be everything I wanted to say. I know that's a bit dark, but obviously like times are dark and the world is a bit confusing. So if I am no longer here, this video is here and that's all that matters. So today's title of today's video is called A New World. So I really wanted to like paint what that looks like because I've got like hundreds of ideas of what the world would look like if we changed the world, and I'm here to talk about those ideas, observing how it works, but you're looking at me to turn. Put away the key because you said it's said and done. Put away the truth because you're feeling kind of numb, and I'm here rebelling you because I'm feeling kind of Wow. That's one of the things that I've written that I'm quite obsessed with it, and I keep like listening to it over and over again. Like I'm quite obsessed with that song. I've still not released it. Anyway, let's talk about a brand new world, how that looks like and how 100% is possible, and then I'll post this video and my job will be done. So obviously far from done, but at least I'll leave this behind. It's really weird because I've got a brand new job and I went there to meet the team, and the first thing that came out when I came out of the station, I'm not speaking properly. The first thing that happened when I came out of the station, so I was looking at my phone to see what the map was telling me to do, and I was a bit confused because the map kept changing. I was looking at my phone while I was walking, and this guy, he said, "Oh no! Oh, watch it, look where you're going." He was literally like, oops, quite far away from me as well. In this area, like the vibes were a bit different. Like people just felt like they had the right to tell you what to do with yourself, even though it wasn't even bothering them 100%, and it was just bothering them in their head. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the world is so different. Like why does this guy think it's okay to like tell me to what to look up from my phone because I'm looking down at my phone? Like why doesn't he just mind his own business? And here he is in like an area that's like got more money, where he thinks he's entitled to tell me what I should and shouldn't do with my eyes and my hands and my body. It's really annoying. Anyway, so and then yesterday I was at Westfield and there was like lots of like kids, like younger kids, like school age or college age, and they'd literally like loads of them, and then the police was like trying to get them to leave Westfield, and there was like lots of them. I think they just like arranged to have a fight. And then as I was crossing the bridge to go to Westfield, like I just saw this like massive fight on the other end, and then like these girls were just like ripping at each other's hair, and they were pulling out each other's extensions and like proper like hitting at each other's faces, and I was just so upset. I was like, what is this? And then as I got closer to them, and then this policeman came, and then he was like, stop it, like he's fighting, trying to stop the fight, and they wouldn't stop. So then he started banging them with his black stick, banging their legs, and then this like man's like was helping the policeman to try and stop the fight, and there was like loads of them like fighting each other, so there was like 3 and 3. Anyway, and as I got closer, I could just see in their face like the adrenaline that they were going through, and it wasn't peaceful, it wasn't nice. Like it was just this thing of like trying to maintain a composure, trying to get a composure, and I was just like, oh, and the hate that they had towards each other, because as they was breaking up, they was like still shouting things at each other, and it was just the hate. I just wanted to cry. Like I just wanted to cry because it's like, what is this? Like why do we hate each other so much? Anyway, and then I voice noted one of my friends, and I deleted the voice note because I realized that I was just passing on this like trauma. I didn't need to pass it on, so I just deleted the voice note. But I messaged her about it, and I was saying that like I feel like because this type of scene wouldn't happen in a, let's say like a posh area. Like you'd never see that happening with a posh area. Why is it that you come into these areas where it's less rich and then you get behaviors like that? Like what is that about? And I was really like thinking about it, and basically I feel like we teach the brains to see ourselves as not valuable because of how we get treated. So we don't get given opportunities, we don't get given by birth a right to have a great life, and so then because we get treated like that from birth, we then see the rest of them the same. So then you're not worth nothing, you're not worth anything. And then maybe these people who have all the money, have all the power, they educate themselves to be more controlled, and I don't even know what that is. Like what is that education? Maybe because Maybe because they see their worth as more, because they have actual opportunity, they have actual money and actual access. They have things like, if you want clothing, you have it. If you want perfume, you have it. And I was in John Lewis like shopping for a perfume, and the prices was just so high. And then I went to get a cream from Jo Malone, and one of her creams is like £56. And what? And I just feel like this divide of like people living really well and people living not well, it actually causes us to not look at ourselves as if we have worth, and then we treat each other like we don't have worth. And that's the only explanation, because I started getting angry again at like the creator of all of this, because it's like, how dare you create such horribleness? Yeah. Because this machine was created, right? Anyway, I don't even want to get too much into this. What I'm saying is that I feel like there's a lot for us to change in how we think of about who we are. Simultaneously building a new world, I feel like we have to change how we view ourselves. So for example, I view myself, even though this is contradictory because I kind of don't want to be alive, I don't know what God is, but I have this deep feeling inside of myself that says that and I don't know how this is going to sound, so please excuse if this sounds abnormal to somebody who doesn't see this way, who doesn't see themselves this way. I see myself as this like really precious, out of this world diamond. And when I say diamond, it's like the closest thing that I can say that would be like of a higher value, but really it's just the word that I'm using. So, but I feel like I am of a high value, and I feel like we have to see ourselves in that way, so then we at least then feel like we are worth the change, like we are worth a better world. Because if we don't see ourselves like, oh, I'm just a rock, or oh, I'm just a piece of poo, you know, then we don't have reason to make the world a better place, because I don't even see myself as worth it. But because I do, then I have the thought of like, well, what world do I belong in then? What world do I deserve to belong in? And this world is not it at all. Anyway, so I feel like that how you see yourself is very important in the process of building a new world. And I feel like we should influence each other. So then, because I am this precious diamond, so are you. And so then I should influence you to see yourself in a really high regard. And you deserve the world. You deserve to be able to buy whatever cream you want. You deserve to have a wardrobe, if that's what you want, or full of different clothing. You deserve to travel the world. You deserve to eat at a restaurant every night, if that's what you want. You deserve to be able to go shopping and fill up your basket with whatever groceries you want. You deserve that. You deserve to have a great fridge when you come home, not a broken one. You deserve to have a warm house in the winter time. You deserve to have, what do you call that thing that blows out cold air in the summertime? We don't have that in England, so then I don't really remember. Air conditioning. You deserve to have air conditioning in the hot weather. You deserve to have water when it's hot. You deserve to have food when you're hungry. I can go on and on and on about how much we deserve and how much we don't have. Because the only way that you have this is if you are in the correct path, meaning you're making the correct money that supports what it is that you want. There's a high percentage of people who don't have that life, of course. And there's a small percentage of people who do have that life. And even then, there's a percentage of those percent that actually still have to budget, but their budget looks way different than mine. So, oh, I can't buy my second house until next year, but I have this big massive house already with 2 cars and loads of clothes, and I eat every day, but I want a second home and I can't have it until next year. So your budgeting looks way different than mine, where it's like, I can't have a new pair of trainers until next year. What? Though I already have these trainers that are a little bit banged up. It makes me want to cry, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this conversation makes me want to cry because I don't understand how this is possible, that we live this way. Anyway, sorry, I've just gone on and on and on. So let's move on with my list here. So I believe that world change, so then we're gonna change all of that, right? Because we deserve better. We deserve to come up with a new idea of how do we live? How can we make this fair so then everybody gets to have enough? And before you think it's impossible, let me just make this clear, right? There are brains in the world that can come up with so many ideas of how to do things and it can make it work, because the brain is creative and it can come up with anything. So there's definitely a way, and we just have to find the brains who are capable of thinking up these new ways, these equality ways. There's loads of them, and we need to find them, put them together, and make those people be the face of the new world. But let me slow down there, right? Because that just sounds like, oh, these people are going to lead the world, which is not. everybody needs to lead the world, but we all have a part to play in this puzzle, right? And those people have the ideas, and I'm one of those people. I have ideas of how we can, because I can think it up so quickly, of how can we create a whole new world? How does it look like? How's it going to operate? How's this going to work? How's that going to work? How are people going to be able to do this and do that? Like, I literally can think up of everything. And those people need to come forward and create the blueprint of a brand new world. But let me just back step a little bit. I'm always getting the cars getting involved in my videos, but that's fine. Let me backstep a little bit here, because what I was gonna say is that how we change the world, right, is all of the brains need to come together and work together, because all of the brains have the missing pieces to the puzzle to create a perfect world. But we are not allowing all of the brains to come together, because why? Sorry, my camera ran out of space. I had to delete all the old videos. So basically, I was saying that all of the brains have all of these missing pieces, and if you put them all together to work together, then we will create the perfect world. But what happens is that the people who lead the world, the rich, the 1%, the 10%, whatever, those people who lead the world, they're being selfish and they just want their circle to stay in control. But their circle is not complete with all of the pieces, because all of the pieces is worldwide. So in all different cultures, for example, and whereas like the leaders of England, they're mostly English, and so then all of the pieces is not just found in English people. So we're not utilizing all of the brains, we're just being selfish and closing the doors basically from all of the people who can help change the world, and we're closing the doors to only include the people who are already in control, and those people don't have all of the answers. So when all of the brains come together and we unite, because that's what we're supposed to do, 8 billion of us, we're supposed to be working together, uniting as one world, then we'd be able to fly, we'd be able to create beyond our wildest imagination. We'd be able to create it, but we're not doing that because we are fighting. Just like the Westfield, we are fighting and we hating on each other. Why? Because we don't understand who we are, we get treated badly, therefore we treat each other badly, and this world is a mess. But to stop all of that and to heal all of that, we have to come together and utilize all of the skills that are available in all of the brains, and then that will create a brand new world. So just to quickly touch on like how that would look like, because I get excited about this part, because that's what I was saying, that I have like so many visions of what a brand new world would look like. But I feel like telepathy is one of the things that we have to activate in our abilities. I feel like the human ability is at a very low function, so we are using like, let's say like 10% of the ability of the human, and really we need to be at 100%. I know there's a lot of gamers out there who like to grow their percentage, so then they like to, you know, do this, then I'm at 10, do this, then I'm at 15, then I'm at 20, and then there's some people who are not gamers and they like to just go from 10 to 100 like that. Again, by using all of the brains, we can come up with a system that allows people to either gradually get to 100 or get from 10 to 100 with a click of a finger and still live in the same world and work together in the same world. There's a way of doing that, and it's quite easy. Like, we need to change the school system. So if you want to take it slow, you go to this school. If you want to take it fast, you go to that school. It depends on your desire, you choose your school. It depends on what you want to learn. So if you want to learn telepathy, you go to this school, you spend 2 years there. If you want to learn how to learn about your emotions, you go to that school for 2 years. And I feel like we need to change the school system completely, and actually it should never stop. So we should be able to do 2 years of education on different things like throughout the whole entire lifespan. So actually now I should still be enrolling on 2 years of learning how to deal with my emotions, for example, because I don't necessarily know how to deal with my emotions, or I have a jealousy problem. What school teaches about jealousy? And there's brains out there who are naturally clever at understanding emotions. So then those brains need to be utilized, and those brains need to lead those schools. So then they're teaching us how to control our emotions. What does jealousy mean? How do I heal that? A lot of rich people, because I watch a lot of interviews of people who are successful and they're rich, they can afford therapy, and it really hurts my heart that I can't afford therapy, because I can see that therapy is the answer to a lot of the human problems. Because we need to be able to air out to somebody who knows how to help us help ourselves, and these professionals, they know how to to do that. They've studied the brain, they've studied the right questions, they know how to ask the right questions, so then you clarify yourself and you have clarity in your head. And when you have clarity in your head, you become more positive about yourself, about the world, and you become more giving, more nice. But when you're confused in your brain, you get angry, you get impatient, you get annoyed. And people who can afford it is that they know that by speaking to somebody else, a professional, they can make their lives better. But how many people can afford therapy? Like 20% out of 100%. So you've got 80% of people who are not processing their brains, they're not processing their feelings, their emotions, and this is unfair. So another thing is we have to be able to make accessible therapy, and we can even call it something different and not therapy, because technically all you're doing is talking to somebody, so then you can clear your brain and your thinking and your emotions with the help of somebody who knows how to guide you while you're doing that. And it's so important. It's so important. Another thing that a perfect world will look like is fairness and equality. Yeah! So for me, fairness and equality is not even about everybody has the same thing. Nobody wants the same thing. So fairness and equality is not about having the same thing. Fairness and equality is about having access to what you want. Being able to have what you want. Some people literally want a little cottage on the side. Some people want a massive mansion in the middle of somewhere. Like, we all want different things, and equality is to have access to what you want and to be granted what you want. That for me is equality. And again, the brains of the world who are not being utilized, they can come up with a system of how does that work? How would that work? How can we make sure that everybody gets what they want? And obviously, again, my brain is already starting to tick. Like, how do we do that? So we're gonna have to like ask everybody what they want. How are we gonna do that? How do we ask 8 billion people what they want? Can we activate the telepathy so we can do that? Or is there a software that we can do to do that? There's so many, and again, I'm just one brain here thinking up of these solutions. There's 8 billion brains that can come together to think up of a solution. And how do we do this? And it's there's 8 billion of them, and only a very small percentage of them are being utilized. Like, for example, NASA. How many people work for NASA? And those same people, how rigorous is it to get into NASA? Do you have to have a specific mindset to get into NASA? And you're not utilizing the whole world, are you? You're utilizing a small percentage of people, depending if they answer the right questions or not. So you're not utilizing the world, you're utilizing what you want to utilize. And then another vision that I have, a brand new world, is of togetherness. So you wouldn't ever have hate towards somebody because you know that they are you. You'd never attack somebody because you know that that is you. So an understanding of life, which we need to unlock. We need to unlock this understanding. I don't know why it's locked, but it's locked because I have no idea who I am outside of this body. But when we unlock it, we have an understanding, and therefore we act like we are together because we are together. So the way I feel about what's the most innocent thing that I have, so the relationship I have with my son and the relationship I have with animals, those are the purest forms of relationships that I know of. And those two, that's how I should behave towards anything and everything, anyone and everyone. That's how I should behave. And we know when the world has changed, when that is a reality, when we treat each other the way that you treat your favorite thing. And that's how a brand new world will look like. And that comes with connection. So you'd be able to feel what somebody else is feeling. You'd be able to understand why somebody feels the way that they feel. You'd be able to have the option to at least connect to it. And this is what I mean about equality, is to be able to have the access in the first place. Like, do I want to switch this button on so then I understand you? Yes, I'm gonna switch it on, now I understand you. Like, we should be able to have the access, the availability to be able to read people if we wanted to. And actually, if there's ever confusion, of course you want to, because then you won't have a confusion anymore, because now you understand by a simple choice of saying yes please. I feel like what we see as fun and what we see as food will also change, because right now, like I said, we don't get treated nicely, so we don't treat things nicely, so then that shows up in everything we do. Like, for example, some people go hunting for foxes as fun. Some people go hunting for birds as fun. Now, if I was the fox and if I was the bird, and you know when you watch scary movies, because I don't watch scary movies anymore, but you know, like when you watch scary movies and something's really sick and twisted? Like, that's exactly what that is. It's like there's a fox minding his own business right now and he doesn't know it, but there's a human coming his way and they're gonna shoot him for fun. And now his babies are not gonna have a mum or dad anymore because this human decided to shoot him for fun. No. And this is where my anger comes out, because I don't mean to, because I know that anger doesn't teach anything, right? Anger just pisses people off. But we need to really change what fun is. And again, those people that do that for fun, they must not love themselves enough to love others, because they don't know who they are. They just maybe see themselves as this like piece of dirt, and therefore everything else is a piece of dirt. And really, we need to awaken to the truth that we are not pieces of dirt, we are pieces of magnificence. And then so therefore, so is the fox, and so is the bird, and therefore we don't go hunting and shooting them, because that's not very nice. And we are lovely beings, we are benevolent, lovely beings, and we have to awaken to that truth, so then we stop treating and calling these things fun. And again, there's 8 billion brains who can come up with what can be fun, because we do like to like play fight a little bit, don't we? I love to play fight. Me and my son, we get a bit rough. When I have a boyfriend, that I never have boyfriends, but when I do, I like to be a bit physical. So is there a way that we can, because I know that we like boxing and all those types of sports, but is there a way that we can change the face of football, so then it's not about winning and losing? Could it be about something else? Again, 8 billion brains can come up with how it can be something else. 8 billion brains can come up with how we can change the sport, so then it's not aggressive and it's not win-lose, because let's be honest, nobody likes to lose. And if they do, they've taught themselves to enjoy the ride. They've taught themselves that, because why? Because the world, this is what the world gives you. But really, we get to pick what the world gives, because we are in control. The brains are in control. And we don't get taught about this, because why? Because the people who are in control, and I hate like conspiracy theories. I'm really not about conspiracy theories, but that's the literal truth. There's a bunch of people controlling the world. Those people are using their brains. They're using their ideas. So they don't want to teach you that the brains is the one that's creating this world, because they don't want you to start creating another world, because they want to stay in control. Again, not conspiracy theories, just the facts of what's happening in this world. So then, instead of those people creating the world, 8 billion people need to create the world. And it's possible, because we are here together. So the question I ask myself, and I think I'm going to finish on this point, the question I ask myself is like, why is this happening? Because I can see clearly a brand new world. I can see clearly that we need to utilize everybody. We need to come together. We need to change everything. We need to change our food. I didn't talk about the food, sorry, I skipped past that, because I think that that's a little bit of a tricky subject. But I just feel like, so there's a scene in Peter Pan, no, it's the Hook. I think it's Hook, it's Peter Pan movie, but it's called Hook. And there's a scene where they have to imagine the food, and I think he can't imagine the food at first, and then he learns to imagine the food, and when he suddenly does and he succeeds, he sees like loads of food. I feel like we have to, instead of eating each other, we have to come up with a new way of eating, so we don't eat each other anymore. Because I don't know if and it's not even about vegan and vegetarianism, because I don't know if the apple wants to be eaten. Like, I need to speak to the apple, and people laugh at me when I say this, right? But I need to speak to the apples to ask the apple, do you want to be eaten? Because if the apple doesn't want to be eaten, there has to be another way. If I need to eat, which I don't know if I do, because there's some people that are breatharians, they don't eat and they still survive. So do we have we just completely lost the mind? Like, we've just lost it, and here we are eating things and we don't even need to eat. And it's like, well, why do you have organs? Like, why do I have organs? Are you misunderstanding what these organs are for? And has science completely gone astray, thinking that, oh, these organs are for this and this and this, and really you're wrong, and you've misunderstood everything. And so then we need to find all of these things out by using 8 billion brains, and not just the ones who pass the degree, pass the PhD, pass the masters, and only those people get to speak, when really we should be utilizing everybody. What do you think? Can you speak to apples? And if you can speak to apples, can you ask the apple if the apple wants to be eaten? And if the apple doesn't want to be eaten, we have to figure out another way to I don't even want to say eat. We have to figure out another way to live. Anyway, what I was gonna say is that I was trying to understand, why is this world the way it is? Because I'm here, I seem to be an alien, I seem to see it clearly, I want the world to change, this is easy, let's do it. And then I walk out of my house and somebody's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh my gosh. What? And I think what's happened here is that because the brain is adaptable, we have adapted this way of living, and therefore it's like a compulsive behavior, like an addiction. You don't know how to break free. You're so used to the system, and then these brains are just like continuing to lead. Because I see the difference here between somebody who is naughty and somebody who's kind. And I see the difference between the two. The kind person wants to do what's right for everybody, not just himself. The naughty person wants to do what's right for himself. So it's like one is selfish and one is not selfish. We don't teach enough of selfless living. We teach selfish living. And then those people end up leading the world, because the current people who live the world, they're selfish. And then they teach the children to be selfish. And then that society then becomes the next set of leaders, because they've made sure of it. They've put it in the laws. They've put it in the education system. Only these type of people succeed. And those selfish people then become the next leader. So then we are stuck in this selfish cycle of people who I call naughty, but really they're just selfish. And we have to break out that system. We have to teach this cycle that selfishness is not very nice, and it results in this world where we all hate each other and we all cry and we all at some point want to die. Instead, we should be living lavishly, where we wouldn't dream of wanting to die, and we literally just walk out of our bodies when it's time to move on from this body. And it's a commemoration, it's a celebration, and we know who we are outside of this body, and we are loving towards each other, and we don't eat each other, and we explore the endless space that is called life. We explore it in wonder and beauty and fascination, and in a divine sense rather than in an evil, selfish sense. And we have to break out of it. Anyway, it's gonna happen because obviously we're all here. We've all arrived, and then we're here, and there's too many people like me in this world who are probably suffering like I am, confused out of their head as to what this is, who are here to create this brand new world, to teach selflessness, because I want to be selfless. I don't want to be selfish. It makes me cringe when I do something that's selfish. It makes me cry when I see selfishness, and we're here to change this. So I hope that you're on board with that. I hope that this video has inspired you to start that process, and the answer is that we all have to come together, put our brains together, use everybody's brains to create a brand new world. Okay, that's me. I'm done. Thank you so much. I shall be back if I probably will be back. So until next time, enjoy yourselves and be kind. Okay, please. Bye.